Okay, quick look up on specs. I tightened the torsion spring for a 7-foot door. Took another measurement. I've got an 8-foot door. That involves some more turns on the spring. 30 to 32. Yep, it's 28 to 30 turns for a 7-foot door, 32 to 34 for an 8-foot door. So we got to go back up. We're going to tighten the spring up a few more turns very carefully because there is a lot of tension on that spring right now. So here we go. Got my 3/8 wrench. I got my official bars for tightening the spring. We're going to make sure we are definitely offset for the amount of tension that's on the spring right now. And like we said, you have to get this to come up enough and put it all the way in. You need a full bite. Carefully take your tension off. So now the tension of this spring is currently resting on this torsion bar. Now I'm going to hold that so it doesn't by chance fall out and we end up with a catastrophe of the spring coming off. Now we're going to loosen up the set screws very carefully just to get them off the bar. Okay. Now all the spring tension is currently being held on my torsion bar right now. Now I am offset out of the way in case something slips, lets loose, these go flying, they're going towards the hurdy-gurdy, not my face. Okay, so we're gonna try and put 3 or 4 more turns in here and then we'll check the door again. So, 1, man, I don't like that. Don't let loose. Oh, I messed that up. Son of a gun. See? That's what happens when you're not paying attention, folks. This is where mistakes happen. Okay. All the tension's on that bar. All right, that's why it's a learning process. I am not happy about this being loose though, so we're gonna tighten that back up. Again, folks, I never claimed to be a professional. I can do a lot of stuff. I might not do it perfect the first time. I might not do it perfect the second time. It'll be done right when I'm done. Okay, so that side will hold over there. You can only undo one of these rollers at a time. Just, otherwise, everything goes haywire. So we're going to retighten up the cable because my dumbass did something wrong. Okay, we're tight, we're hand tight. Let's try this again and see where my mistake was, but let's get this tight. Because apparently, no offense to you guys that are watching, I was more concerned about telling you guys what I was doing than paying attention to what I was doing. Tension's there. Why was it turning all of that? That spring's bound up somewhere. That's why it was turning the whole rod. The set screws were undone, but it was turning the spring rod. Hence, undoing the cables. Taking the tension off of my cables and completely putting us almost back to square one, other than we have a bunch of tension on that spring right now. No, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. As long as you're careful about what you're doing and you're doing everything safely, you can back up, look at it, be like, all right, what went wrong? What do I got to do different? So we're going to get the springs, my cables tightened back up, get them hand tight so there's a twang on them, get the set screws set back up. I'm going to go back over to the center and try and attack that spring again. Again, the set screws go about 3/4 of a turn, because otherwise you end up crushing that center rod. And I'm sure there's technical terms for all these parts and pieces. I'm not a garage door pro. Any of my videos you watch, I'm not a pro. I just can do a lot of stuff. I'm not afraid to tackle a lot of stuff. All right, back to the spring. Nope, off center. Again, this rod, screwdriver, is holding the tension of this spring right now. So we're going to, again, back off these set screws, because I think one of these set screws got hung up, and therefore it was turning the whole rod, not just the spring. Oh yeah, she moved. Yep, I think that one was hung up. Let's get these backed out plenty. Oh, that's where the vice grip came into play. Where'd that go? There it is. See? Skipped a step. Semi-screwed myself. Okay. Hand tension on it. Okay. That's holding that. That's holding that. Okay, let's try this again. I've got to get 4 or 5 more turns out of this spring very carefully. So, here we go. 1/4 turn at a time. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna go 1 more. 4. Okay, now we're gonna get our lock bar in. Bring it out a little farther so I can get into it. Bury it in there because there's a lot of tension on this spring right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I am putting a lot of faith in this Craftsman screwdriver right now. I'd be lying if I wasn't a little nervous at the moment. This will hurt, and Stacy will probably find me on the floor. All right, tighten these down. Everybody says like 3/4 of a turn, half 3/4, get them nice and snug. That spring is holding the tension for your cables, the bar, the door, up and down. Okay. Just take that out. Take your bar out. Okay. Tension is off. Remove our vice grip. Cable's tight. Cable's tight. She's readjusted. Let's open the door again and see if she stays up. So go about half, 3/4, and the door should stay. Still not. Okay, she stays all the way. Oh, she stays. There we go. All right. Now let's bring it down and check the gap. See if I maintain my 0 gap on the bottom. The whole purpose of this, how's it started? Jackpot. We got our seal. I'll grab you guys, bring you along for the walk. See, that's the seal I was talking about down there. I was seeing daylight. And I wasn't liking the daylight because rain would leak in, snow melt, and that part of the garage over there would hold water. So, new seal on the bottom. Now, the spring up here, I'm gonna flip you around. This is a long video. I'm gonna flip you around and show you. That's where you're supposed to have the torsion rods into them holes. There's 4 of them all the way around it. Those are your 3/8 set screws, or 12.7/16 to tighten up. Same thing on the roller. There's 2 set screws to hold that in place. It's just a matter of making sure your cable runs the right way, up and over the back and around, and you're tensioning the spring the right way, so it opens the door. I did it once before I made a video, and I tensioned the spring backwards. So, went back to square one, and here we are. So, lesson learned. A little, I don't know, learning how to, because like I said, not everything goes perfect. And obviously it didn't. But it's not to panic. It's not to get overzealous or get rushed as you're doing it, especially with something like that spring. That spring is no joke. I'm sure you can look up statistics where that spring letting loose has probably killed somebody or severely injured somebody when it let go. I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I've worked on the springs on this garage door now, that's probably my 3rd time. There's a previous garage door in here that I put in that previous owner had left for us. So I made the opening for it and put it in, had to put the spring on it, learning experience. And then my father-in-law got new garage doors at his place, gave me the bigger garage door, so I had to rebuild this opening to make it taller, wider, put the new spring on it. And then this time, when I made a mistake, loosened up both rollers on this end at the same time, trying to adjust how it sat, loosening the tension on my spring. So, it's fixed, it worked, a couple mistakes along the way, but it can be done. If you have enough knowledge and know-how, you can fix it. I have no idea what that would cost to call an actual garage door company and be like, hey, I need you to fix my spring and my cables. Everything's here, but you gotta come out and do it. I'm sure there's a service call fee and there's everything that goes with it. If I don't have to pay somebody to repair something that I could do, it might take a little research. I might have to look at another guy's YouTube video to be like, how does that work? All right, cool. I probably should have remembered what video I watched, because I'd give him a shout out. The guy did a great explanation on how to do it. Really good how-to, but he replaced the whole spring, so I had to take it all apart and redo it, but I was looking for the adjustments and everything, and I watched his video, and we did it. It's fixed. So, that was Sunday. Adjusting the garage door was not my plan. My plan was making chili and watching football. So, door's fixed, chili's cooking. I'm gonna go back to watching football. The Bills game should be on momentarily, so last game at Highmark. So we'll give it a shot. If this helps anybody, that's awesome. If anybody wants to bash me because it probably wasn't the safest way to do it, I did it. Nobody got hurt. And I do some questionable shit. That's how you learn. That's how I fix stuff. Because I'm not paying somebody if I can do it. All right, guys. Have a good Sunday. Go Bills. And we'll see you tomorrow.